Okay, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck and 100% with y'all. Making video games is pretty tough, but trying to make a video game all by yourself is like trying to lift a 1,000-pound boulder up a mountain. And as you can see, I'm getting nowhere fast. So for those who don't know, I'm making a hide-and-seek multiplayer game with cute chameleons. Now, I really like my game and I think it's going in a really good direction, but I think it's missing something. Now, as far as all the maps that I have done, it's got the rainforest, Madagascar, desert, and it's also got a pretty neat auto map as well. But it really needs something to save the game and make it a lot more cooler. Cool, cold, ice, frozen. Okay, that's it. That's the idea right there. How about we freeze my game? Just like ice cream, we're gonna pop this baby in the freezer and cool it down a bit, which means We Hidden is getting an official winter map. I think as kids, we actually all enjoyed winter way more than we enjoyed summer. I mean, we were able to go make snow angels, have intense snowball fights, not to mention that there was sledding, skiing, snowboarding. I seriously can't think of one single bad memory that I had during winter. Okay, but the point is, how do I actually make a winter map inside a hide-and-seek multiplayer game? And the answer is tile maps. Yeah, sadly, we're back at square one all over again. You see, me and tile maps have a love and hate relationship. It takes incredibly long to actually complete them, but they actually do end up looking really nice once it's all done. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need some coffee for this. And there we are, we're all good to go. Now it's not looking pretty bad. There's 10 rooms and then there's a center room where the seeker is supposed to be. Now, every time I add a new statue in a map, I like to base it off a Greek god. So, for the Greek god that I chose for winter, can I get a drum roll, please? And it's Kayan. She is the Greek goddess of ice and snow. I don't know about you, but I'm getting real Disney Frozen vibes from this chick.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Great, cool beans. Now that I've got the statue out of the way, we can start working on the trees. So let's pop open Adobe Illustrator and let's get started. Now it only makes sense to make pine trees for the winter map. And we add a little bit of snow, give it a little bit of texture and some shadows, and it came out pretty good. And we'll also add this short little stubby tree as well. Now it's time to start figuring out what I should be adding in these specific rooms. So I headed on over to the good old Enters of Webs and I asked my social media, what did they think? Well, TikTok told me that I should add a snowman village, so why not? I'd like to think that our good old boy Frosty the Snowman wasn't homeless and had somewhere to live. So I decided to add a little igloo that our so-called snowman could live in. Okay, so the igloo's not looking half bad, but I need to add a little bit more detail in this specific room. Doing a little bit more research, I found out that the certain vegetation that can last during the winter is something called a winterberry. So I added a few white winterberry bushes. Then I was able to reuse a brown bush and then make it all white. Add a snowman in there, add a few snowballs, and a mysterious footprint. Okay, so this room is all tying together, but I think it's still missing one more important detail. You see, I have a true passion for 2D animation, and during winter break I was watching one of my little cousins and they were watching this show called Hilda, which really inspired me to make this piece in my game. Apparently it's some type of giant gnome stone person. Okay, I don't know exactly what it was, but I did know that I wanted this thing in my game. And there's a little hidden lore behind it of where he's pointing to, but I think I'll keep that a secret for later. The last thing I decided to do in the white room was add the torches for if you're playing in the dark. I think it just makes the aesthetic just a little bit better. So I only had enough time to do one more room in the winter map, and I decided to go with the red room. This is how I know my ADHD was kicking in. What if I used moles as inspiration for the red room? You see, moles are really good at digging. So what if I use the color red as an object so that way the moles can actually be digging it up? Now, I usually try not to act on my impulsive decisions, but I think this decision was probably the best. Now, rubies are usually known to be in the ground, I'm assuming, and I can use that to my advantage so that way I can actually make the moles dig up and look for rubies. So, why not everything in this room be based off of red rubies? So my idea was that there was a giant red ruby cluster and there's a giant pit, and you can use the ladder to climb up and down it. Then the moles have their little red tents that they're using to camp out so they can get their work done pretty fast. And they even have these little cute carts that they can bundle up all the rubies in so that way they can haul them out. Now, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to draw or come up with the idea for these moles, but you guys can leave some comments down in the section below and let me know. So that was a really great idea, but the next thing that has to be done is how are the traps supposed to look? Well, the traps were actually pretty easy. Since this is a winter map, why not just make a giant icicle pop up out of the ground? So now whenever the traps are set off, you are blocked off by a giant icy stake. Hey, whoa, hold on. Aren't you forgetting something? Forgetting something? Oh yeah, that's right, the bird. That's right, so for each different map I make, I add a different bird in the game as well. So for the winter map, it only makes sense that I add a... good question, what should I add? Okay, so immediately off the rip, my first idea was to go with a penguin. Yeah, that's right, a cute black and white stuffy little waddling bird. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I could not go with that because I had something much better in mind. Oh geez, I can see you people in the comment section probably raging, saying a penguin is the perfect bird, but I had something much better in mind, and I decided to go with a snowy owl. So now if you're playing the role Egg Hero, you just need to return the egg back to its proper nest. And I'm sure that the wise old owl will be very, very appreciative. Okay, so the last and official thing that I did for this map was choose the insect. Okay, so right off the rip, I couldn't tell which insects could actually survive the winter, so I had to go look it up and I found out that a beetle is the perfect bug to add in my map. So everybody, let me introduce you to Bartholomew II. Please don't ask about Bartholomew I, we don't talk about it, it was pretty tragic. But I do have to admit that the color scheme on Bartholomew goes perfect with the winter map. And while I'm still doing insects, I decided to go back into my desert map and add a cricket. Now, I've been thinking of a name for the cricket, but I can let you guys decide. So, what do you think? Drop a name down in the comment section below. This is actually as far as I can get working on the winter map, so I had to save the best for last. I've been actually working on the minigame for the jailbreak feature, and now you can actually cut down each bars. Each bar has health points that you can shave down over time, and once you shave down all the bars, you can actually escape from the cage. I noticed a lot of feedback on social media, and a lot of people like this feature, so I think this version of hide and seek is going to be very popular. The next thing that I started to work on was the last superpower that the chameleon seeker has. So here's a little announcement that everybody should know about me. I am blind. Not literally, but somewhat. Like, I literally can't see worth shit. My vision is horrible. But it actually turns out that chameleons have excellent and amazing vision. You see, chameleons can actually see 3 to 4 meters in the distance, which is actually pretty impressive for such a small reptile. So I started to brainstorm and try to figure out how I can use this supervision that these chameleons have to actually give a superpower to the seeker in my game. So what if the seeker had the ability to actually spot where certain hiders are at anywhere in the map? This is where it gets extremely exciting. So I started playtesting around with a camera that would follow specific hiders anywhere in the map. But the thing is, this would only last for a certain amount of time and then it'll be a cooldown. So after about 20 to 30 seconds of knowing exactly and following where the green hider is, this special ability would dissipate. I won't say this ability is a complete cheat, but it's definitely one of my favorites. So I was actually able to reuse the chroma copy menu so that way we can actually choose which player we actually want to magnify on. I also forgot to mention that this ability is going to be called Magnify. So far this ability is looking pretty damn sweet, and I think I just need to upgrade the graphics and a little bit of UI and make the aesthetics a little bit more appealing, and I think it's all done. So one more interesting development that I decided to add in my game was actually upgrading the hiding mechanics. So in the previous version, after hitting the hide button, you were actually able to just hide there for a little bit and nothing would happen. But now the camera actually zooms in a little bit, and you also have a hiding timing bar, which means you can only hide in a specific spot for a certain amount of time, and you have a cooldown as well. So that means you get kicked out of your hiding spot and you have to manage not getting caught by the seeker. This makes the game of hide and seek much more interesting and a little bit more difficult. And so far that's all I've been able to complete, but I do think the project of We Hidden is coming along just perfectly. But I am glad that you did stick around to the end because I do have an important announcement that I like to make. Because I am a solely indie developer, the project of We Hidden takes a lot longer to make, plus I also make these devlogs. And I also work a part-time job, so I do not work on this game full-time. But I have found the perfect solution to actually help me move this game along much further and become full indie. The big announcement is We Hidden is coming to Kickstarter on April 18th. And I cannot do this without your help. So if you'd like to help me and support my first indie game get on Kickstarter, please head on over to the pre-launch page and sign up now. But oh, don't you worry, you're definitely going to be getting something in return. I also like to say that We Hidden is going to be having a special giveaway, and there's going to be some really cool Easter eggs in the game, but I don't want to spoil it just yet, and you'll have to wait till the next video. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.